Welcome to another unit in this course on economics. This time I'm going to talk about the so-called AS curve, whereas the AS stands for aggregated supply curve. So that's like the supply curve for our whole economy. And if we want to get our AS curve, we can actually follow one of two approaches. We can either try to deduce it via the labor market, via the Phillips curve. And that's by saying our price level depends on the wage level. So it's basically prices are wages plus some kind of profit surcharge. Was basically stating the end price equals the factor prices or factor costs plus some added profits. That's the most easiest version to go with as a starting position, and then we only have to say, well, how do the wages actually relate to income? Well, in the easiest fashion, wage is a part of overall income, so we can model wages as just a parameter A times income. That's the easiest way. We have some other possibilities as well, which look a little bit more sophisticated, but the basic idea here is establish a link between price level and wages, and then establish a link between wages and overall income. And then we have, if we combine those two approaches, a link via the labor market, because this is about wages and income, via the labor market, a link between price level and GDP. Another approach is via the production function. In the production function context, we also, on the one hand, have the labor market included, and we can use the production function in the same context as we did here. So in this context, we have two different perspectives on how to get the aggregated supply curve. In some cases, the production function view for a lot of people makes a bit more sense because we're talking about supply. So needs to be produced by someone, by a supplier, and that's what's modeled via the production function. So that's how GDP results depending on the price level. So we would have to note down our production function and then solve this for P. Then this would also give us the AS curve. However, if we use the production function approach, this will show us that not only the labor market does not only the quantity of labor or the wage as the price of labor will impact the situation, will impact the lay of the AS curve, but anything else which is part of the production function will have an impact on the shape of the AS curve, of the lay of the AS curve as well. So capital, availability, like education level, technology, all of those aspects will impact the AS curve in one way or another. And also, if we consider this graphical representation, which I also shown a few seconds earlier, we can consider the AS curve to behave as a normal supply curve, being slightly increasing, but if we consider the production function perspective, at one point, all our production factors that we have available at the moment will be fully employed. And that's the point here. At this point, even though the price level might increase, production cannot be expanded. We cannot actually produce more. So continue up here, because we do not have the resources for this. We do not have the labor, we do not have the capital to produce more. And that's why it's limited on the right-hand side by the overall production potential of an economy. And that's where we assume to land in the long run. Because here we assume that in the short run, we might deviate from fully employing all our factors, but we assume in the long run, the market will always achieve a situation somewhere here in this part, meaning a situation where all production factors are fully implemented. However, this will also have impacts on how policy can work, because at this point, even though we might increase demand by whatever measure possible, we cannot increase GDP, because here we're stuck at this level of GDP, of this output level. So to actually change something, we have to do some kind of policy measures which actually move the AS curve to the right. And that's a discussion from growth theory, from a growth theoretic point of view. However, that's also linked to the production function, because we want to know how can we get our economy to grow, which translates into how can we get our economy to have a higher production potential. And well, that's then everything there is on the AS curve, the aggregated supply curve. That's two ways how we can get to it, how we can model this, how we can represent this graphically. And well, this then concludes the session. So I say goodbye and see you next time.